You are listening to Functional Wellness with Dr. Allison, and today we are talking about vitamin D, what you need to know about supplements, sun, blood work, and a couple things that you might not have known about getting your vitamin D levels up. Vitamin D is important for many aspects of our health, not just our immune system. It reduces bone loss, reduces risks of cancer, reduces high blood pressure, and helps with blood sugar balance too. Vitamin D is found in fatty fish, eggs, even dark green leafy vegetables. It is a steroid hormone that is produced from cholesterol in your body, which means if you have low cholesterol, if you struggle with hormone issues or adrenal fatigue, or even have high triglycerides, you might have a difficult time making vitamin D. So let's start with testing. Most doctors will run a basic blood test for vitamin D, and that's what I do as well. The difference is in the ranges. Did you know that labs like Quest or LabCorp actually set the ranges? And these are based off of the population and location and the average test scores that they see over the year. So for many different lab values, there's no real set ranges unless they're set by associations, like the American Heart Association sets the ranges for cholesterol, which is why one year you might see the range for TSH, or thyroid hormone, be 0.4 to 4.2 is normal. And then the next year it changes to 0.6 to 5.2 is normal. It's because people who come into the lab have different ranges. And some might be healthy and some aren't, which is why we like to use functional ranges. The typical lab will set vitamin D range for about 30 to 80 as, quote, normal and healthy, but functionally I like to see people between 60 to 80. So if you've been supplementing vitamin D for a long time and your ranges are still low, there might be a few issues. You might not be taking enough, your digestion might be impaired and you aren't breaking it down well enough to absorb, or the supplements you are taking actually block the absorption of vitamin D. I also like to test your vitamin D levels in the winter and then again at the end of summer. This tells me what your average levels are and how well you absorb and utilize vitamin D over the summer, and then how well your body performs over the winter when you're not getting as much sun. All right, next topic is supplements. The amount of vitamin D as a supplement you should be taking will vary person by person. Because vitamin D is fat soluble, this means your body will retain it and it could become toxic. Now, reaching toxicity levels is extremely difficult. It would take a lot of supplementation over a very long period of time, but it is something that you need to be aware of. Now, typically, I recommend people take about 5,000 IUs of vitamin a day for daily support. If you have lower levels, you can take up to 10,000 units until your levels regulate. Or if you're dealing with acute or chronic infections, autoimmune conditions, gut health issues, there's a lot of reasons to increase your vitamin D, but make sure you're monitoring it, especially if you're taking around 10,000 or more. Now, gummy supplements. Most people love them. I'll be honest, I do too. But with vitamin D, high fructose corn syrup and its similar additives will actually block the absorption of vitamin D. So if you love your gummy vitamins, or you're giving them to your kids, they're actually really worthless. And if you're eating a ton of food that has high fructose corn syrup in it, it's going to block your ability to absorb and use vitamin D as well. For the type of supplement that I like, I prefer the patches from patchmd.com. I'm not financially affiliated with them, but I love them. I send everyone there. Their B complex and their D complex is fantastic. Or I like the liquid form from Apex because these are more readily absorbed and used by the body. You're kind of bypassing the liver a little bit, and your body doesn't have to break anything down. You do need other nutrients to best absorb vitamin D because no vitamin works alone. In nature, all nutrition is in a complex and requires that chain or combination to be effective. So you want to make sure you have K2, magnesium, calcium, and vitamin A in that regimen or within that supplement. I'm posting a link to my Fullscript account where you can get really good discounts on all of your supplements, the best ones that are out there, so you can click on that. That has my favorite general supplements in there, plus a ton of other protocols, but take a look at it. And you also want to look for whole food-based supplements that include these as well. All right, let's talk about the sun too, because I am the person who loves the sun and I always try to get as much as possible in the winter and spring too. I love to sit by windows or outside whenever I can, but there are two factors that prevent our body from using vitamin D from the sun. The first is sunscreen, which is obvious, right? It blocks the sun rays, which means it blocks the rays that help our body produce vitamins. I do believe we need sunscreen when we're in the sun, one, for extended periods, or two, when you're traveling to places that you aren't used to the sun exposure. Like if you're going to Florida, but you live in Missouri or Ohio, and the sun is much stronger, we're closer to it, and you're more likely to get burned. So you need to make sure you're using sunscreen if you're traveling to places or if you have sensitive skin, because avoiding burns is so important. Now, if you're at home and it's summertime, you need at least 15 to 45 minutes in the sun without sunscreen every single day. This is going to be really helpful for you. Don't get burned, rule number one, but you need to be out in the sun. Another sun factor is that if you live in certain areas, the sun is not strong enough to allow your body to produce vitamin D during the fall, winter, and spring months. You can Google vitamin D latitude lines and see where you live and if you need supplementation. But guaranteed, if you live in the United States, most likely you will need extra supplementation from fall until spring. Which means when I'm the person who's sitting outside on a weird warm day in January, I'm actually not getting any vitamin support. It's just good for the soul, right? There's a lot of information that you might not have known, and now you know to take good care of your body with vitamin D. Make sure you're getting outside in the sun, make sure you're taking your supplements, make sure there's no sugar or high fructose corn syrup in them, and make sure you get your blood work done throughout the year to test these levels. Because you want to make sure that one, you're taking enough supplementation, two, you're getting the help you need, and three, that it's working. You also want to check your liver markers. You want to do probably a GI map test if your vitamin D levels aren't changing with supplementation, because that means there's something else going on. Check your cholesterol levels, make sure they're at the right amount, and then if all of that comes back and you're still really good, then I would recommend doing something like an adrenal fatigue test, the saliva test to check your cortisol to make sure that your cholesterol is being used the right way. You're not shunting into cortisol and taking away from all your other hormones, which is trashing your cholesterol and your vitamin D amounts. So a lot of information there for you. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date with all of my weekly podcasts. And of course, I invite you to schedule your initial consultation with me to review your blood work, your health history, and create a plan that works for you. All right, thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for listening to Functional Wellness with Dr. Alison. If you would like personalized care and testing, you can schedule an initial consult online and get started with your wellness plan right away, or message us on Facebook at Little Black Bag Medicine. Thanks for tuning in, and see you next week.